Olá a todos, olá, bom dia, boa tarde ou boa noite, dependendo de onde você estiver conectado. Sejam todos muito bem-vindos. Meu nome é Mauritius Trevisan e hoje eu vou ser a moderadora deste evento, um evento que é muito especial, gente. Hoje é dia de celebração. Então vamos a algumas informações importantes, olha só. O webinar está sendo gravado, né, e vai ser compartilhado com todos os participantes do evento depois que a gente terminar. A gente vai ter palestras em inglês e também em português, né? Então, a gente vai ter tradução em simultânea disponível para os idiomas português, inglês e também espanhol. Você pode, então, selecionar o idioma da sua preferência pelo botão interpretação, que fica aqui embaixo, ó, no menu inferior do Zoom. E caso queira ouvir o áudio original dos palestrantes, é só selecionar o botãozinho escrito original. Bom, estamos aqui então para celebrar os 10 anos da primeira certificação Bonsucro, que aconteceu, né, ali atrás, no dia 14 de julho de 2011, na usina Maracaí da Raízen, né? É um marco muito importante, tanto para Bonsucro quanto para a Raízen, e que consolida uma longa jornada de conquistas e desafios para tornar o setor sucroenergético global uma referência de sustentabilidade e também de práticas ESG. Então, eu convido a todos agora para conhecer um pouquinho mais dessa história através deste vídeo.
Environmental impact with a standard to ensure the adoption of the best agricultural practices and industrial practices. This is only possible because people commit to improve the sustainable development of the sector. Bonsucro certification offers greater international competitiveness to producers, further expanding their business possibilities. Certification demonstrates that Bonsucro's partner companies such as Raízen are working efficiently with less impact on the environment and with intelligent waste generation control. Bonsucro certification, the cultivation and manufacture of sugarcane, reduces the environmental impact. It is better for people and business.
Passando aqui para cumprimentar a Raízen pelos 10 anos de certificação Bonsucro. A Raízen que teve a primeira unidade certificada no mundo, que é a unidade Maracaí.
And it all started 10 years ago, with Raízen leading the world's first Bonsucro certification. Since then, more than 130 mills have adhered to this certification, with evident advances for the sustainability of the sector. Today, there are more than 75 million tons of certified sugarcane worldwide. As a market reference and industry leader, Raízen is committed to obtaining Bonsucro certification in 100% of its production units, and thus developing more sugarcane.
Essa que é uma certificação tão relevante, tão importante para o nosso negócio. Então, parabéns Maracaí, parabéns Raízen, parabéns Bonsucro.
Bonsucro and Raízen have worked closely together for the past 10 years to transform the sugarcane sector. We're looking forward to doing more in the next 10 years. Join us on this journey.
Que delícia, parabéns para todos os envolvidos. Olha só, o nosso evento, então, ele vai ser dividido em 3 partes, tá? No primeiro bloco, teremos os CEOs da Raízen e Bonsucro, compartilhando um pouco sobre suas visões de futuro, a olhar para esses últimos 10 anos aí, esses 10 anos de história de parceria. Já no segundo bloco, as duas empresas vão abordar em mais detalhes a trajetória de sustentabilidade das organizações nessa última década, né? E o que essa parceria almeja para o futuro. E, na sequência, nós fecharemos o nosso evento com um bloco de perguntas e respostas da audiência para os nossos CEOs e também para os nossos palestrantes. E, por isso, desde já, eu encorajo vocês aí, né, os participantes que queiram fazer perguntas, que queiram fazer comentários, para usar o botão Q&A, que fica aqui embaixo também, para fazerem suas perguntas e também seus comentários. Pedimos também a gentileza, né, se possível, de direcionarem para quem vai ser a pergunta. Bom, então vamos iniciar o nosso primeiro bloco de hoje. Agora, para abrir este primeiro bloco, esta primeira parte do nosso encontro, eu gostaria de passar a palavra para a CEO da Bonsucro, a senhora Danielle Morley. Danielle, agora a palavra fica com você.
Thank you, Marissa. Hello, everybody. It's my pleasure to speak to you today. To celebrate the 10th anniversary of Bonsucro's inaugural certification in 2011 by Raízen at your Maracaí mill. When Bonsucro was first incorporated in 2009, it was the culmination of years of previous dialogue between leading companies and NGOs. And 2 years later, in 2011, we put the finishing touches onto our certification scheme, and we finalized the process, which saw Raízen, in a joint venture between Cosan and Shell, win the race to become the first company in the world to have a mill certified to the Bonsucro standard, audited by SGS. And with that first certification, the Maracaí mill sold 130,000 tons of certified sugar to Coca-Cola and brought 63,000 tons of certified ethanol into the Brazilian market. And Raízen's commitment to certification at the Maracaí mill and all its mills right from the very beginning in 2011 was a significant milestone for Bonsucro, for Raízen, and for the whole sugarcane sector. Because with this first certification and with Raízen on the bus, so to speak, many more mills have followed in Brazil and worldwide. Today, Bonsucro has 138 certified mills operating in 20 countries around the world. And over the last decade, our members have sold 9 million metric tons of certified sugar, raw sugar and credits, and 1.5 million of ethanol. A big achievement. And we have to recognize that certification to the Bonsucro standard, even for large integrated companies such as Raízen, does not come easily. It's a commitment and an investment that calls for continuous improvement over the medium to long term. But applying the Bonsucro standard and our framework and complying with the strict social, economic and environmental criteria does pay off. Last year, we published in Brazil a cost-benefit analysis of our certified mills there. And the conclusion was clear. Bonsucro certification in Brazil has a positive cost-benefit ratio. We calculated the additional costs of compliance and certification to be approximately 75 cents US dollars per ton, but the additional benefits came to approximately 1.2 US dollars per ton. We calculated that the investment resulted in a payback within just 1 year. And with the growing trend of certified volumes of sugarcane products, this cost benefit of certification will improve even further. And it's going to be even more advantageous when Bonsucro certified mills can also obtain the Renova Bio certification and sell their CBio to the market in Brazil. That potential presents us with a fantastic opportunity. And as such, we are engaging actively with the Brazilian government to try and align on mutual protocols to make that happen. Crucially, I've put the business case first, not because it's more important than the environmental and social impacts, but because Bonsucro will not achieve our mission without a clear business case for the producers. And this approach is clearly reflected in our new 5-year strategic plan, where we've laid out 3 strategic aims, all of which are equal. The firstly is to create value across the supply chain. We will achieve this through our unique combination of certification, but also convening and collaborative action. Bonsucro doesn't intervene in setting prices, but we do provide a framework that facilitates compliance with high sustainability standards and delivers impact on the ground, thus enabling market access for farms and for mills, traders, and consumer goods companies, because the increasing pressure for the adoption and disclosure of environmental, social, and governance factors in products and in financial reporting means that the Bonsucro, we anticipate that our certification will enable our members to deliver against those ESG requirements and continue to access large markets, for example, the European Union, as well as access to capital from the financial markets, which have now in the last 12 months woken up to the seriousness of the sustainability agenda and are pivoting towards requiring ESG for that for financial markets. So our second strategic aim in our new 5-year plan is to improve the environmental impact of sugarcane. Environmental issues remain a high priority for our members and partners, many of whom have specific commitments, not just to minimize environmental impacts, but to restore the natural environment and to regenerate agricultural systems. Next week sees the critically important UN Climate Change Summit, where we need all nations to come up with the right commitments to achieve the Paris Agreement targets to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees. Any alternative scenario is unthinkable. The race to zero is on, and sugarcane has a great potential for decarbonisation, as Raízen clearly demonstrate. So today, after this meeting, I'm actually heading over to Glasgow to attend the summit because I want Bonsucro and our members to play our part in the fight for our future. We have this influential network. We know that our standard makes a positive environmental impact. In fact, scientists at the University of Minnesota have modelled that if the whole world moved to only producing Bonsucro certified cane, it would halve the sector's greenhouse gas emissions and it would reduce the sector's water consumption by 60%. And meanwhile, Bonsucro's own data shows that certified mills reduce greenhouse gases by an average of 18% over 5 years, and even more in the Brazilian context. So in our new 5-year strategy, we've introduced important new climate commitments to support certified mills to reduce greenhouse gases by 30% over a 5-year time horizon, and working outside of certification to convene collective commitments and actions in line with the Paris Agreement and to bring the sector together. But of course, climate action isn't just about mitigation, it's also about adaptation. And going forward, Bonsucro will be working to improve water security and water stewardship through certification to our standard, but also by convening collective actions on sustainable water management. And the new standard, if it's adopted, goes further than ever in protecting ecosystems and high conservation value areas. And we will continue to play a leading role in developing and implementing protocols that combat heat stress in agricultural workers. In essence, Bonsucro wants to collaborate on the climate agenda, leverage our collective influence, our knowledge and capital, and create the change. And finally, turning to the social agenda, our third strategic aim, we want to strengthen human rights and decent work in sugarcane farming and milling, and we'll continue to drive the agenda in this area, driving through safer working conditions, including a zero tolerance policy on forced labour and child labour. We'll work to ensure the safe recruitment for migrant labourers, to reduce discrimination and to promote gender equality and safety in fields and mills. And importantly, we're now going to have made a commitment to promote living wages in the sugarcane sector for the lowest paid workers. So we've come a long way since that first certification in 2011. We've got an ambitious plan, a growing network of engaged members and partners, Leadership, commitment, expertise, and collaboration have been the keys to our success, but so too has the strength of our relationships. And I know that in Raízen, we have a highly innovative and truly committed ally. And I thank you, Mussa, for you and for your team, for your resolve and all your hard work over the last 10 years and as we embark on the next decade of our journey together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Miss Danielle. E muito obrigada por essas palavras tão inspiradoras, essa introdução bastante inspiradora para todos nós. E agora eu passo a palavra, então, para o CEO, né, da Raízen, agora o Ricardo Mussa. A palavra é sua.
Thank you, Maruza. Thank you, Danielle. Great to hear from you. I think a lot of things that you said here, it's amazing how when you see things happening in practice, how we are seeing Raízen, it's very rewarding, to be honest, because our company, we have 10 years old. So in fact, we started the business, the joint venture between Cosan and Shell, we started in 2011, and we quickly get the first certified, at that point in time, sugar mill. And this has been our agenda since the inception. So I like to say that that's our DNA. And the other thing is that I tell the guys inside our company that it's amazing how this is good business. It's not only we are doing the right thing, of course we are doing the right thing, but in the end it's also good business, and we can testify that when you mention how much the cost of implementation, but that's really nothing compared to the achievements that you have, the sustainable aspects of your profitability also of the business moving forward. So for us, and this has accelerated more in the past, I would say 2 years. How much I was impressed, Danielle, on the last year, for instance, was the record year, how much we got on revenues coming from the Bonsucro certified products that we have. And one big change is that we are no longer sugar mills only. That's why even inside Raízen, we changed the word now to Bioenergy Parks, because we are producing much more than sugar and ethanol. We have second generation ethanol, biogas, bioelectricity, pellets, and all these products, the Bonsucro certification, it's the way that you can prove to your client that you are doing the right thing and adding value. And this has never been more, I would say, true than what we are seeing right now in the market. So I can clearly testify here, it has been a competitive advantage for us. We are collecting better returns for that. And inside the company, when you have, like we had all the mills now, of course, we just acquired Biosev, a very large company with 9 additional mills that we will move ahead with the certification process. But inside Raízen, it took us, it's not easy. You have to really focus and get the team investments that we did. But in the end, even for the employees working in a company that has those values, you attract better people, you have an environment to work that is better. So in the end of the day, it's a win-win situation. And of course, you have long-term relationship with your clients. And this is a very, I would say, virtuous cycle that things are getting better and better. So we are more than happy that we are here with the 10-year certification of Maracaí. Of course, we put that in a high-level priority in our agenda. And as I tell everyone, it's good business. We are going to keep evolving, keep making this a reality. And of course, this is not only sugar, not only ethanol. We are talking about all the products that we have in our business line, biogas, pellets, and E2G are benefiting from that. Now we have the RenovaBio program getting, I would say, up to speed. Of course, this is also going to help. I think the major markets that we have, Europe is a major market for Raízen, also US and other major markets, and we are seeing more and more clients recognizing Bonsucro as a differential. So I hope this will become mainstream and many other companies can join and move ahead, because this makes our market even better. So it moves away from that old mill And now we are talking about much more on the bioenergy parks and a much more sustainable product, and showing the difference that we have for our products and what we're doing in the appreciation. So it's good to have this meeting right prior to Glasgow. Hopefully, Danielle, you have a good meeting there. Unfortunately, I won't be able to join you there. I also have a board meeting on the same dates, but it couldn't be on a better, I would say, timing for us to celebrate the 10th year anniversary. We have the 10th year anniversary of Raízen. We have the Glasgow meeting right now, so it's a very good, I would say, timing for us to discuss debate. So I'm anxious here for by the end of the presentation today to get some Q&A and talk to the guys involved here to share some of our experience. Thank you. Thank you.
Muito obrigado, senhor Ricardo Mussa, pelas suas ricas palavras. E agora a gente vai dar início, então, à segunda parte do nosso evento, né? E para isso, eu convido o diretor da Bonsucro para a América Latina. Senhor Miguel.
Good morning, good afternoon. I hope you hear me well. Is the presentation okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Good. Continue with the second part of our celebration. Please join me on a virtual tour on the 10th year of Drive Change. This is the map of Bonsucro. In green color, you can see where are our members. We have more than, or almost 300 members in more than 50 countries. And where you see the logo is where we have certifications, meal certify. Additionally, we have chain of custody certification, 73. These comprise almost 11,000 small farmers and almost 6% of global sugarcane land certified. Bonsucro is growing in all continents and key origins, like Brazil, Mexico, Central America as a region, Australia, Thailand, and India. Bonsucro is supported by a robust and transparent governance system. The elements are the governance, board of directors, committee, technical advisory board, members council, and the secretariat. Some of you have joined this governance, and in the future, others can join the governance of Bonsucro. We also have the new code of conduct implemented a year ago as part of the membership process, and the grievance and complaint mechanism to find solution to any conflict. Bonsucro is recognized by international organizations and some governments. ICL, we are members. The European Commission, we are recognized by the EU RED to certify bioethanol. The government of the Netherlands, the National Energy Agreement for Sustainable Growth. Germany, the sustainable biomass production. And we began the discussion with ANP in Brazil. The idea is to get a recognition with the time of RenovaBio. These are data on market mainstream from our 2019 outcome report. From left to right, you can see that we have more than 6 million tons of certified sugar, more than 1 million of hectares certified, almost 3 million of metric cubic of ethanol, and almost 90 million of tons of certified sugar. Important to mention that Raízen represents 27% of total Bonsucro certified sugarcane. So an important presence in the world of sustainable sugarcane. Continue with the market mainstream. These are the certified sales since 2012. On the upper part, you can see that the sales of physical sugar is almost 6 million tons, and almost 1.54 million of ethanol cubic meters. With the launching of the credit trade platform, some of you are user of the credit trade platform. We are also selling credit. Remember that Bonsucro system allows you to sell physical and credit. So you can see in the upper part of the slide that we had sold 162 credits of sugarcane coming from sugarcane farmers. And the mills, we had sold more than 100,000 of ethanol credits and almost 4 million raw sugar. So the message is there is a market and we are contributing with this market, either it's physical or credit. On the next slide, you can see the progression, an impressive progression starting in 2012 and with an impressive growth since 2015. You can see that also as part of the outcome report, 2019, the total sales of certified products represent almost 1 million of credit sold, sugar credits, and almost 1 million of physical sugar sold. And this will continue. This picture is an example of the pride that we have as Bonsucro in collaboration with our members. These are examples of coordination with our members to certify products and use the logo of Bonsucro, starting with white sugar, Bonsucro certified, available in Argentina. Now you can find it in the supermarket. Going to Brazil, chocolate with Bonsucro sugar, available also in supermarkets. Going to Europe, we have rum certified Bonsucro and bioplastic packages certified in Bonsucro available in Europe. Positive impact. At social level, you can see that we have reduced the accident rate and increased the salary above the minimum wage. We will attend the COP in 26. Our CEO, Danielle Morley, mentioned it, that she's going there. And we are traveling there, having contributed with the GHG reduction, diesel and water use reduction as part of the commitment on environmental good practices. Continue with positive impact. These are examples of project initiatives that Bonsucro is implementing all over the world. The Adelante Initiative is a partnership between members in Nicaragua. The objective is to protect the health and safety of the sugarcane worker from the heat stress. Then, the next picture is about payment for environmental services in Brazil to explore benefits beyond the sugarcane field. There is a report available upon request if you want to read more about this project. Good practice, better finance in South Africa. This is a partnership between Bonsucro, Better Cotton Initiative, and the Alliance for Water Stewardship. Together, we are developing a methodology to assess the sustainability performance of farmers. And the last picture is about a project called Outcome-Based Standard, led by the University of Minnesota. We also work with the academia. This project is assessing and improving the landscape outcome of voluntary sustainability standard across the sector. This is almost the end of my presentation, but it's not the end of the journey. This is an invitation to continue supporting Bonsucro. Over the next 5 years, we will implement our strategy. Here, you have in one image, in one circle, the summary of our strategy. Starting from the inner circle, you can see that we will collectively accelerate the sustainable production of sugarcane. And going to the outer circles, we will be working on strategic aims, priorities, activities, and principles. All together will support the sustainability of the sugarcane sector worldwide. Now, it's time to thank you. We want to make a bigger impact with sustainable sugarcane. We believe in the future of Bonsucro certification. We will convene the sector to create a force for change, addressing some of the most critical issues facing the society. We invite you to join us on that journey. This is an open invitation. Please stay with us, work with us to change and to improve the sustainability of the sugarcane sector. Thank you.
Sure. We are going to be together for sure. Thank you for your presentation. Mr. Miguel. E agora eu convido o Head de Sustentabilidade da Raízen para falar um pouquinho com a gente, o senhor André Valente. Senhor André Valente, é com você agora.
Obrigado, Maruza. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Very nice to meet all of you. Well, when we started discussing the possibility of hosting this celebration event, it was a simple yes, because there's so much hard work behind it, and we know that it didn't just stop back then, 10 years ago, when we certified the first mill. Raízen has been working a lot, certifying mill after mill throughout the years. So it's not a one-shot investment that we've made. We truly believe it, and I decided to take these 10 minutes that I have here to tell you a little bit about what's the strategy behind it, why we're doing it, and where do we get value out of it, because this is part of the give back we could get to all of you, could be producers, buyers, because this is something that we can share about our experience. We'll be soon reaching our target that we set 10 years ago, which was to have 100% of our operating mills certified under Bonsucro Standard. We'll be achieving this in any time soon, this year already. So it's already a huge milestone. I would really like to be here telling that if it had already happened, but it's going to take 2 to 3 more months for us to get there, but it's already a huge milestone. And it's interesting because when Mussa talks about record revenue, and you cross that with Miguel's chart on the evolution of market demand for certified products, you can easily see that it hasn't always been like that. So we started it 10 years ago, and we've maintained our pace on certifying mills year after year, even when market didn't actually look at it as something that would be that much added value. Market didn't understand that much. So why did we keep doing it? So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I have a very quick presentation here. So this, I assume you're seeing my screen. Are you? You are, right? Okay, so this just puts into a picture of what Mussa just described about our previous sugar mills being converted into bioenergy parks. So that's something that it's really interesting to understand, and what these renewable products have in common, and not only the ones that we are producing now, but also the future ones that we expect to produce throughout energy transition, is that the feedstock is the same. So it all starts with sugarcane for us. And what we realized when Raízen was formed 10 years ago was that it's not enough to be renewable. You need to be sustainable as well. So that's the message we wanted to send out to the market. The way we produce it is as important of what we are producing. And how does this connect to Raízen's overall sustainability strategy? This is you can see more about that on our website. It's free public information. Those are our 2030 commitments to Sustainable Development Goals agenda. We have several commitments on the material aspects that surround our business. And these are deeply connected to what Bonsucro promotes in several ways. And I would like to highlight these 3 related to how we are committed to reducing our carbon footprint, how we are committed to improving the efficiency of land use, and how we are committed to making sure that our feedstocks are always covered by sustainability standards in any way. So and it all comes down to the message we send out. I have a few information here on the screen to you that not many people know about, and Bonsucro really helps us telling this story to the world about sugarcane, in our case, more specifically in Brazil, how far we are from the Amazon. We usually get connected to a few aspects that are basically just lack of knowledge of people about what is actually happening down here in the ground. So a third-party standard most of the times help us telling this story in a solid, consistent way. And when we think about what's actually happening in Brazil, so we have most of the sugarcane being produced in the Centro-South region, in which you can see an interesting data here that is 87% of the areas in which we are producing sugarcane, the municipalities in which we produce sugarcane, actually are facing an increase in forest areas instead of a decrease, as most of the public opinion might think. So how do you tell this story? How do we make sure that people actually understand what's going on in the high level of sustainability standard we have in our operation? How do we make sure that people understand that 57% of the sugarcane that we have today in Brazil, it was already sugarcane decades ago. It's not like we are in the agricultural frontier, and we need to make sure that whoever is buying our products, or plus whoever is making public policies on what will be the new and energy transition solutions to the future, take into account that we do produce sugarcane in a sustainable way. So we see that sugarcane has a very large potential to play a key role in all kinds of decarbonization opportunities throughout several sectors. You've seen it in the previous slide. So Bonsucro is the way we decided to tell this story to the market. And another important thing is, not many people know about that as well, but you can't store sugarcane. So why is this important? If sugarcane is perishable and you start losing its sugar content once you cut it, this is our passport to full traceability. So we have 100% of traceability of whatever farms are supplying our mills, and this just gives us the possibility to certify every single farm we can, because we know where it's coming from, we know who the supplier is if it's a third-party supplier. That's why Bonsucro actually inspired Raízen to go way beyond our own areas and create ELO program, which is it's a pioneer program for sustainability throughout our supply chain. So the learnings that we had with Bonsucro certification, the aspects that Bonsucro covers, and we understood a lot about how we could promote sustainability beyond our fences throughout our value chain, our supply chain. So the fact that we now have Bonsucro and ELO as two complementary programs looking at the whole supply chain of sugarcane at Raízen places us in a very strategic position, internationally speaking, and we have been seeing that as market demands picks up for sustainable certified products, it starts to pay off the strategy that we've started 10 years ago. So that's the experience that we wanted to share with you. It pays off, it is important. It might be a bit of a struggle at the beginning. It was hard to justify a few investments 10 years ago, but with the vision that we have, that there is only one way to produce sugarcane, and it's a sustainable way, it made much more sense to us. So I would like to thank everyone from Raízen's team that have been working really hard on this. You can imagine 2 to 3 mills, additional 3 mills every year. Now we'll be achieving 23 certified bioenergy parks by the end of this year. We have to have annual and 3-year verification. So there's a lot of work being done down in the fields, and I would really like to thank everyone at Raízen that has been performing this. So thank you very much for your attention. Hope I could give you a bit of the background of why we're doing it and how it pays off. And I'm looking forward to every questions that might arise. Thank you very much.
Perfeito, senhor André. Muito obrigada aí pela belíssima apresentação. E agora a gente começa, então, a terceira parte do nosso encontro, que é a parte das perguntas, né? Primeiramente, a gente fica muito feliz de ter recebido tantos bons dias. Recebemos bons dias aqui, ó, do México, Guatemala, Uruguai, do Brasil. Que delícia, o mundo inteiro unido nessa celebração de hoje, né? A gente, então, selecionou algumas perguntas. Eu vou começar com uma pergunta para o senhor Ricardo, tá? É uma pergunta da Marília Ferreira e do Francisco Martinez. Então, para você, senhor Ricardo, se você pudesse nos contar aí a partir, né, dessa experiência de 10 anos, quais foram os principais obstáculos para a implantação da certificação? Conta para a gente. Deu alguns exemplos aqui, ó. Integração aí com outros sistemas de gestão, envolvimento de partes interessadas aí, chave, como sindicatos, fornecedores, etc. Conta para a gente, então, se você pudesse contar essa história.
Thank you, Maruza. Thank you for the question. I think for us, the challenge is that it's a very long supply chain, right? It involves the suppliers, farmers. So I think that at the beginning, it's our industry has a culture that has been planned for many, many years. So explaining to them why that was important was one of the biggest challenge, saying that this is good because we are going to benefit from that from the future. So at the beginning was really getting suppliers involved was a big challenge. I think inside the company was easier because we had a very strong safety culture. So implemented that was a little bit easier. But to be honest, I think the biggest challenge was getting suppliers at the beginning involved, understanding what's that is all about and what was in the end the benefit from them on the long run. Because at the beginning you couldn't give them any numbers. Okay, this is going to give you, as Danielle said, we are going to get these, we're going to get that. So it was not. We had to push a lot. We had to put in and what we did. It was crucial in our company. Even the variable pay, the bonus pool for the employees, it was not a KPI of everyone. So the CEO of the business had on his agenda the Bonsucro certified mills for the long run. So it was a long, I would say, the target was a long-term target, was not an annual target, but there was milestones. We had to report to the board every single board meeting, the evolution of Bonsucro. So it became from the top of the business, from the CEO, it was a target they had to achieve. So it was demanded by the shareholders. So it was not something that was on the side. It was really a strategic decision that didn't have much, I would say, return financially at the beginning. So I think for me, the major challenge is how to, in our business, we have so much volatility in prices and climate, and sometimes it's hard to have long-term targets. People are so involved in the annual problems that they are facing, dry weather, bad prices, and it's easy to leave aside the long-term target. So for us was, I think, a key element that helped a lot was establishing KPIs even for the number one on the company to all the employees, and the compensation was related to that. So for us was critical, and it was not easy. It was a lot of times when we are in a bad year because of cyclical years, and you don't have much cash and not much cash generation. And is this a priority, not a priority? So also have the finance team aligned that this is strategic was important.
Perfeito, senhor Ricardo. A gente tem mais uma pergunta aqui para o senhor e também para Miss Danielle, né? É uma pergunta da Marília Ferreira. A gente vai para Danielle para responder primeiro, né? Quais são os maiores desafios considerando o plano estratégico para os próximos 5 anos como organização Bonsucro e como plantas certificadas?
Okay, thank you for the question. Challenges, there's many challenges. I mean, we're operating at the interface of, we're a multi-stakeholder organization. We seek to address some of the most complex societal and environmental challenges that are facing us collectively at the moment. We are historically a market-based model of change, and as Mussa just mentioned, it's a very volatile market, the market that we're operating in, and we have to a large extent work within those market forces. I think going forward, one of the things we've identified in our strategic plan is to move also beyond the market and engage more proactively with governments, because we're now seeing that there's a lot of opportunity. We've mentioned in this conversation today about the Renova Bio scheme in Brazil. I mentioned briefly about the new policy regulations that are being fine-tuned and soon to be finalized in the European Union. And it's happening all around the world, that policymakers are waking up to. They need to get tougher in order for us not to overreach our planetary boundaries. So that's going to be a challenge for Bonsucro and an opportunity as well to really bring in and now to be more proactive in terms of that public policy engagement, so we can do more, so we can scale up, so we can, yes, work with the power of the market, but also to have systemic change. Governments, private sector and the public all need to come together and keep pushing and pulling one another. And that's what we want. So when we think about the public as well, we need to keep, we need, as Bonsucro, as a standard system, we need to continuously meet those societal expectations. Concepts and sustainability, we keep learning, we keep evolving. It's a continuous process, it's not static. So we're continuing to push the standards higher and higher as we understand more. I mentioned about regenerative agriculture, for example. That wasn't on the table really in such a mainstream way just 5 years ago. So we're continuing to evolve. The world's evolving, the world's waking up. Bonsucro continues to try and operate at the leading edge of that. We're still a relatively small organization. I mean, can you believe it? For everything that we're talking about, we're currently 20 people on the ground working full time for Bonsucro. Obviously, we have a leverage effect because we're a network and we're a membership organization, and we have, big, committed, innovative companies like Raízen and others with us. So we have a bigger impact. But for us, Bonsucro, one of our operational challenges is to scale up to meet the needs, to meet the demands, to meet the ambition of our mission. We're going to be doing that, but that will be a bit of a challenge as well. And I think, I suppose, one other point is to talking about scaling up, we want to evolve to become even more inclusive in our approach to certification. And we have to sort of try and create the space to enable the leading companies to go higher and to go, to keep improving and to keep innovating. But we also have to reach our hands down to bring others along with us, to bring other more traditional mills to look into new origins, to work with smallholder farmers around the world. And that takes a different skill set as well. And so we're operating across that whole spectrum.
Perfeito, Miss Danielle. Senhor Ricardo, poderia falar sobre os desafios aí? Raízen?
Yeah, thank you, Maruza. Thank you, Danielle. I agree with Danielle. I see there are two ways of looking at that. I see the challenges, also but I see more opportunities, to be honest. I think what happened with the COVID over the past 2 years has raised the concern of people about environment, certification. So I don't see, I see a very good moment that we are living to make this even greater. For me, the challenge that we are having, not only for sugar, but many other products that have different standards, and how to engage, and because Bonsucro has been so well established. So for me, the challenge for Raízen is we are also trying to make this much more important, not only for sugar, but for other products as well, for ethanol, for bioelectricity. So making this combination with other products, right? But I see much more as an opportunity, Danielle. I think that's, we are living the best moment that we could ever seen since the inception of Bonsucro. And we have to take this opportunity and move faster. That's my view.
Nós temos uma pergunta agora, obrigada, tá, senhor Ricardo? A gente tem uma pergunta do Henry Leonel e também do Pedro Guanipa, que é para Bonsucro. Acho que o a gente pode direcionar até para o Miguel essa pergunta aqui, olha, apenas usinas de açúcar e álcool podem ser certificadas pela Bonsucro ou outros setores podem receber a certificação, por exemplo, rum? E se existem experiências de empresas produtoras de rum que obtiveram também aí essa certificação. Senhor Miguel?
Thank you, Marusa. The certification system of Bonsucro, with the certification system of Bonsucro, you can certify sugarcane, farmers, big farmers, or the farm owned by the mill and the distillery. So the end product can be sugar, molasses, rum, bioplastic, bagasse, any product coming out of the sugarcane, you can certify. In my presentation, I show an example of a rum certified Bonsucro. This is a new sector that we are working, and there is an increased interest, particularly in the Caribbean, where we are working in Barbados, Jamaica, Martinique. There is an interest to certify the first rum, and we are working to make this possible. And the short question is, yes, you can certify rum as long as you certify the sugarcane and the molasses, and then you have the end product.
Está respondido, perfeito, senhor Miguel. E a gente tem mais uma pergunta aqui, que é do Flávio Linares. Ele faz uma pergunta para a Raízen, a gente pode direcionar então para o André. Senhor André, então essa é para você, tá bom? Ó, como que o mercado está pagando a diferença entre açúcar certificado e açúcar não certificado? Isso significa inspiração para incentivar outras empresas e produtores?
Right, yeah, good question. Well, I won't get into commercial figures, but market has been asking for our support to understand what is the actual added value behind a certified product, because that's an investment decision, right? Anyone who wants to pay a bit more for anything has to justify why is that more valuable, and of course it's more sustainable. But why is it more sustainable? What's the actual benefit that it's getting on the ground? How do I see that my supply chain as a buyer is more free of risk than a different one by purchasing a certified product? So it's our commercial team at Raízen has partnered with our sustainability team in a journey that we've started 3 years ago in improving the level of quality in those commercial discussions, and by making our stakeholders understand a bit better what actually means being Bonsucro certified. It's not just a stamp. There's hard work behind it, and significant improvements down in the ground behind it. So once market really understands that, it's an easy decision to make. So it's an investment, a time investment that you make to engage with our clients, but market has been, and it's been picking up. As Mussa said, we're living a completely different moment, worldwide speaking, on when it comes to sustainability, and whoever pushed forward a little bit this type of decision is now trying to rush to understand how they can make their supply chain more sustainable. And this is why we're well positioned, right? Because we started this journey a long time ago. But whatever brought us here is definitely not going to take us toward further plans, further objectives. We need to keep up with this market demand. As market demand grows, markets requirements will grow as well. That's why we're working on a new standard for Bonsucro to make sure Bonsucro can keep up with this pace of requirements and being more strict every time we revise the standard to make sure we meet market demands. We need to have always a buyer's perspectives at the center of our decisions here, because those are the guys that sustain everything we're discussing now.
Perfeito, muito obrigada pela resposta, senhor André. E a gente tem uma pergunta aqui para Bonsucro. A gente, então, vai direcionar para Daniel. Nesses 10 anos de certificação Bonsucro, podemos observar um número cada vez maior de certificações de usinas. Mas quando falamos em certificação de produtores independentes no Brasil, esse número ainda é tímido. Qual seria a estratégia aí para incluir os produtores na certificação Bonsucro? Como compartilhar o valor agregado dos produtores certificados com os produtores? Danielle.
Okay, thank you. How's my internet? Because I'm getting messages it's unstable. Is it okay? And if it's not, then Miguel, please take over from me. Okay, good. Great question. No easy answers actually on that one. In terms of farmers, so we've recognized this and we have incorporated into our strategic plan in terms of, we've set ourselves a KPI of having more independent farmers and smallholders to become certified over the next 5 years. So our baseline was 3,000 and we're aiming for 15,000. Now you might not think that's significant, but actually there's a huge amount of investment. Brazil is I would say a bit different to or significantly different to many of the other origins where independent farmers or smallholder farmers are growing sugarcane. If you think about the size of farms in Brazil compared to, India, there's like hugely different, and we're operating across all those origins. So the investment of time, capacity building, and resources that's needed to engage and to do outreach particularly for smallholder farmers is quite significant. So that's the target that we have set ourselves. Now, when it comes to Brazil, I think we're sort of looking at what other strategies or tactics can we develop to create value and to enable to bring those Brazilian sugarcane farmers into this supply chain. We've developed the sugarcane credits. So if there's a certified farmer, they produce certified sugarcane, but there's no mill certified in their area, so they can't sell it onto the market. They can sell their sugarcane credits on our online platform right to an end buyer. So we've facilitated that, and those trades have been brokered in Brazil, where they have sold sugarcane credits directly to an end buyer. To Barry Callebaut was the first buyer of sugarcane credits from Brazil, so that was a nice milestone. We also recently looked at payment for environmental services and how can, within the Brazilian context, how can farmers access payment to environmental services by becoming certified Bonsucro. So we need to keep looking and innovating around this.
Perfect, thank you very much. Nós temos mais uma pergunta agora para o senhor Ricardo Mussa, que é do Thales Siqueira. Então, senhor Ricardo, vamos lá. Ele deu bom dia aqui, olha. Como a Raízen está se preparando para os próximos anos em relação à certificação Bonsucro na cadeia de suprimentos para agregar valor, remunerar e desenvolver os produtores e parceiros agrícolas?
Thank you, Thales, for the question. We have developed a program that is, I would say, parallel to Bonsucro, just focus on the supplier side. We call ELO. It's a program that we even presented that to Bonsucro. It was a way to engage all the suppliers of sugarcane into that. So it has been a long way. I think the challenge for Raízen is that we just acquired a very large corporation that was the second largest player in Brazil. We were the number one, so we bought the number two. So we have a huge, I would say, work ahead of us, because it's 9 new facilities. We are reaching 1.3 million acres of farmland now under management. So it's been so the next few years is really getting the new facilities from Biosev with Bonsucro certification, and now we also trying to get the I would say the ELO program for us. It's a step to get into the Bonsucro for our suppliers, right? And that has been crucial. But just a final message here: if you look into the supplier base, it's for us what we try to do, and we are doing very successfully, is showing to our suppliers that by getting the standards of Bonsucro, it's good business for them too. I think so. What helps a lot is getting real examples that things that we implemented worked and giving returns. So again, Bonsucro is not getting just a commercial certificate. When you implement the program, you're getting benefits from the culture of the people, reduction on waste, better productivity. So all that is embedded in the program. So it's just because a lot of people think, I'm getting the certificate to get a little to higher prices. This will happen, but the benefit, it's also having a system that makes your business more sustainable, and showing that to our suppliers is key to get them involved. And I think that's why we're in a good moment. Things are happening, and now things are moving faster.
Tá certo, muito obrigada, senhor Ricardo Mussa, e muito obrigada a todos. Gostaria de agradecer a presença de todo mundo, as perguntas, aos palestrantes também pelos esclarecimentos destas perguntas, né? E para as perguntas que não foram respondidas, a equipe da Bonsucro e também da Raízen vão retornar um e-mail aí respondendo todo mundo, tá bom? E em nome da Bonsucro e da Raízen, eu gostaria de agradecer a participação de cada um de vocês nesse webinar de hoje, que foi preparado com muito carinho e foi muito especial. Estamos muito felizes com os resultados dessa parceria, né, até agora, e muito otimistas com o que o futuro reserva ao nosso setor de cana-de-açúcar sustentável. Tenham todos, então, uma ótima tarde, uma ótima noite, um bom dia, e até a próxima.